Hi everyone, and welcome to the Stubborn Mule pre-race meeting for 2023. I want to welcome you and thank you in advance for making the trip up to the Northwoods. You have a lot of choices about what races you do, and I'm so happy that you've chosen to race Stubborn Mule this weekend. I'm super excited about the course we have for you this year, including a completely separate course specifically designed for our 5-hour teams. So something for everybody out there, and put a lot of time into the course design. I think we've got a really, really great one for you. I want to start off with some thank yous. So a huge thank you to our volunteer crew who are joining us from across the state. Many of these folks are taking vacation time to travel here today to give you an awesome adventure tomorrow. So please take some time as you encounter the volunteers in the morning and all the different TAs, and thank them when you see them. And remember, all the great things that happen out there tomorrow, thank them for that. If there's bumps along the way, something's not quite right, or you're just having a down moment, you can curse me or thank me for that. But all the good stuff, make sure you're thanking the volunteers for that. A big thank you to all the land managers that we worked with, National Forest Service, County Forest, and several more local groups that I'll officially thank tomorrow, as I don't want to give away too much here. There's some gems out there, and I'm really excited to show you some of those different areas. Sponsors and partners, we've got quite a list, and I'm going to highlight a few. To CAMBA, the Chequamegon Area Mountain Bike Association, for building and maintaining the amazing single track that you will be riding tomorrow. And they also provided some stuff for the door prize table, so you'll see some CAMBA shirts out there. Squirt Bike Lube, this is part of the ARWS sponsorship that's being provided. This is a wax-based lube. Everyone will get some in their goodie bags, and there's also prizes for the door prize table. I used to hot wax my chain. I still do that sometimes, and I love the wax product on my chain. Squirt Bike Lube is way quicker than doing that hot wax process, so I recommend it. Give it a try. New Moon Bike and Ski in Hayward. Reminder, if you need any last minute bike gear, clothing, nutrition, they're the place to go. Either if you roll into town this afternoon, or if you're a 5-hour racer, you can stop in there tomorrow morning before the race. Otherwise, check them out on Sunday. They donated a couple really nice packs. We've got those images out on Facebook. Those will be on the door prize table as well. Embark Maple Syrup has product for us too. And then special mention to Badger Orienteering for renting us e-punch equipment to supplement our supply. I think we used every single flag that they have and that we have. So lots and lots of controls out there for you all to be picking up tomorrow. And then last thank you to Scott and Wisconsin River Outings. They've really become the boat supplier for most of the races in the Wisconsin series, and he's making the trip all the way up here from Boscobel. So if you happen to see Scott and around the boats, be sure to thank him for coming up. All right, on to some the more details. Race rules were posted earlier this week, so if you have not yet reviewed them, please be sure to do this. Carefully read the race updates too. There's a lot of important details in there, particularly in update 2 related to tomorrow morning for the 12 hours and 30 hours. Things are going to move pretty quickly in the morning, so I want to make sure everybody's dialed in and really understands what's going to be happening at that time in terms of like bike staging. So you want to make sure you've got your stuff ready to go. All right, so the winner of the race, the 5-hour, 12-hour, and 30-hour, is the team that obtains the most checkpoints in the least amount of time while also obtaining any mandatory checkpoints. So be sure to review your race instructions in the morning when you receive them to understand what is mandatory. All the starts will be staggered. So your race clock is going to start when you punch the start control. So you'll need to keep track of the time that your team starts so that you know, okay, we've got 5 hours from this time, right? So we're not going to have record necessarily of the exact time that you started. So it's up to you to keep track of that. And why is that important? Well, if you're beyond your race time, so if you're a 12-hour team and you get back a few minutes after the 12-hour mark, remember that you lose points for each minute, a point for each minute that you're late. Few things about safety. This is probably one of our busiest weekends up here, and you will be, based on where you know where HQ is, you're going to be on some busier city roads, town roads. So please be super careful, ride single file to make sure that you are out of the way. Make sure that you've got those mandatory lights on your bike. so that you're visible, 30-hour teams, especially at night. Reminder that this is a team sport. Stay together. Don't send a runner up to get a control while the rest of you have snacks on the trail. The idea is that you all visit all of the checkpoints together. TAs. So when you arrive at a TA, check in with a volunteer, and then when you're leaving, let us know that as well. That way we just kind of keep track of where everybody is and make sure that everybody is safe. On a related note, if you decide to skip a leg, so there's a lot of optional stuff out there, right? You can really choose your own adventure with this race course for the most part. If you decide to skip a leg and kind of move ahead to another leg, or you're significantly shortening a section, so maybe there's 15 CPs and y'all are only going to get a couple, let the folks at the TA know that, so that we can make sure that we're getting the next TA open for you, and we can do the kind of the course management, because I sort of design and plan for the day thinking everybody's going to get most stuff, and that's not really true, right? Some of you will need to shortcut things perhaps. So just let us know if you're doing that so that we can manage the course appropriately. When you get your race instructions, carefully read them. One thing to call attention to is that at some TAs, you'll be punching when you arrive for the first time. So essentially, there's a point to be earned just for getting to the TA. So pay attention to this. You may decide, maybe we're not going to do all of the stuff at that particular leg, but we want to at least swing into the TA to get that point. And that's also a way for us just to track where folks are. 5-hour teams related to race instructions and flow. The first several legs of the race will be choose your own adventure. So you can choose which legs to do in which order. So that's an important thing to think about, what order you want to do things in, to maybe stay away from the crowd or maybe stay with the crowd. So think about that and plan your day appropriately. The final 2 legs of the race for the 5-hour teams must be completed in order, though. So just keep that in mind as you're organizing things. 5-hour teams will stagger start between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. So keep that in mind as well. If you are new to the sport and you want some help planning your day, please ask. Julie and I will both be available to provide some guidance. So just ask if you're feeling like a little bit lost. That's perfectly okay. There's a lot to process as you're kind of sitting down to think about your day. So we're happy to help out there. My biggest tip for tomorrow, arrive race ready. Your planning time in the morning, especially for the 12 and 30-hour teams, is going to be very short, and you'll want to make the best use of that time that you can. That's it. We will see you in the morning.